method of maintenance treatment or drug resistant therapy in general, we have seen that our rate of upscaling in terms of national method of maintenance program in Malaysia is pretty slow and is under target. As planned by the Ministry of Health, by the year 2010, we're supposed to have at least 25,000 of our drug users actually on the national methadone program. But in reality, by the end of the year 2010, we only managed to have about 10,000, and those active, still active on the national methadone program is only about 7,000 plus. So this limitation is because of the one of the reasons is due to limited resources that is actually available in Ministry of Health. Many of the health clinics, which is about 800 health clinics throughout Malaysia, and many of these health clinics are already exhausted. For example, when I worked in the Ministry of Health last time in Klinik Kesihatan Kelana Jaya, we have a hypertension clinic, diabetes clinic. We also have a clinic, order emas, mental clinic, and so on. And we have been using the same staff to run all these clinics. And because of this, to put another methadone clinic in this setting always have resistance from the staff because of overwork, because of inadequate space, and so on. So we need to find a solution for this. In National Task Force meeting that I will present for one day in Putrajaya, we actually proposed to have a methadone clinic in the mosque. So at that time, everybody sort of disbelieved. They thought that, if you put the methadone clinic in the mosque, it will not materialize, because at that time, Jakir, Jabatan Agama Islam Malaysia, they still, sort of having resistance in terms of having methadone clinic in the mosque at that time. So some people, some of the committee members laughed when we suggested this. And when I come back and see Prof. Hussain, I told Prof. Hussain about the proposals not really been having a good response from the committees of the National Task Force at that time. But Prof. Hussain said, no man, we should actually continue with our plan. And at that time, when we first started, we didn't have any grants. When we first started the methadone clinic in the mosque, we actually used our own money. We request donation from GPs, and at last we managed to set up a very basic clinic in Masjid Ar-Rahman at that time, at the second floor. And we managed to enroll about 50 patients actually. And now it's almost 1.5 years actually. We already run the program in Masjid Ar-Rahman, methadone clinic. So I would like to share with you how actually we run this program and what are the challenges that we face along the way. So I promise to take only about 10 minutes because we are already short of time. I don't want to repeat about the overview of harm reduction because it's already been given by Prof. Hussain just now. So the reason why we wanted to have this program, the rationale, is because we want to integrate the medical and also spiritual therapy for heroin dependents, and also we want to support the government mission in upscaling methadone maintenance treatment, because at that time we found that the existing resources that we have is already exhausted. We want to provide platform not only for service but also to have research opportunities as well as a training program. We want to empower the most staff to also get involved with the treatment program, because many studies have shown that those initially get involved with the drug, they have actually low spiritual level. That is why it made them predisposed to have engaged with drugs. And of course, we want to provide comprehensive treatment services, including spiritual approach in existing modules for the holistic psychosocial intervention for the drug users. So actually the program is actually initiated by UMCAS in collaboration with not only the Jabatan Agama Islam or religious body, but also with help by the Ministry of Health, National Data Agencies. We will bring in Malaysia State Council people get involved, and of course the NGOs, for example like Pemuda Masjid Malaysia. When we start implementing this program, we actually wanted to also have the same program in church and also in temple. But at that time, the person who was supposed to do in church at that time, Dr. Ting, so he actually resigned from our hospital. That's why we need to go on and continue with the pilot project in the mosque first. Before we start the program, we actually have a several meetings with the religious body, including Jawi, Jabatan Agama Islam Wilayah, and also JAKIM. So we try to convince them that Methadone program is actually a good program, and at that time we actually have to do several meetings in order to convince not only the JAKIM and Jawi, but also the mosque, the Masjid Al-Rahman officers at that time. And Alhamdulillah, eventually we actually managed to convince them and we actually start the program. We want to look, the objective of the program want to determine the feasibility of MMT program because so far as we concerned, there was none of the Methadone clinics actually existing in the world at the moment. And for your information, it's actually the first Methadone clinic in the world. And we would like also to examine the outcome measures in terms of detection rate, treatment, percentage of urinary negativity, quality of life, general health condition, and also crime rate. So we do methodology similar like what we do with National Methadone Program in the Ministry of Health, where we actually select patients 18 years and above. They must fulfill the criteria for opioid dependence, and there was no acute medical or even psychiatric illness. I just want to highlight what are the things that actually more or extra that we do in the mosque as compared to the standard Methadone program in the Ministry of Health clinic. So we actually provide patients with brief spiritual intervention. What we mean brief spiritual intervention or BSI is actually we ask them before they go and see doctors and take their Methadone in front of the pharmacist. We are directed, they must actually do the wudu or washing body parts. And then after that, we ask them to do 2 raka'at praying sunnah. And of course, after that, they need to actually reciting doa. We teach them al-maturat doa, the section of Awal. So all these things is actually very simple. And we don't actually overdose them with something that is very difficult for them to do. So that's why we call pre-spiritual intervention. And immediately after they perform all these rituals, so they can actually go and see doctor and they can actually take the Methadone in front of the pharmacist. So we do the assessment at baseline 6 months and also 12 months with regard to retention rate treatment, percentage of urinary negative, HIV risk behavior and drug use, quality of life, and also we also measure their spiritual level. We are using Hatta Islamic Religiosity Scale that is actually invented by our professor in UKM. So this is actually the extension of BSI. Following the program, we actually have a meeting with JAKIM, Jawi, Pemuda Masjid Malaysia in Port Dickson. We have a 2-day workshop where we actually discuss with religious officers from Jawi and JAKIM, and we actually develop what we call Islamic spiritual intervention. But I'm not going to touch in detail about this. If you are interested to know more, you can actually go to the this internet freeebooks.net. So the results of the study, majority of subjects is actually age about 38. The mean age is about 38.6 years old. All subjects is actually male. 57% are single, 53% completed Form 5. 83% are actually employed at the end of 1 year when we do the assessment. About their medical status, 55% is hepatitis C positive. Only 3% hepatitis B positive. About 6% of patients have both hepatitis B and hepatitis C, and about 6% of our patients actually have HIV positive and also hepatitis C positive. The mean methadone dosage for the majority of patients is about 100 milligram daily during the methadone phase. So here the graph shows that the crime rate, and actually the higher the score, the lower the crime rate actually. We are using OTI, okay, to index. The percentage of UV negative over time, from baseline to 12 months, also see increasing patterns. 80% of patients after 1 year actually UV negative. In terms of social functioning, when the scores are reducing, that means the social functioning becoming better. In terms of general health condition, you notice here also the same, is becoming better over time. As compared to baseline and 12 months, you can see that the score becomes low and low. With regard to sexual practice, also the same, it's actually better. And with regard to quality of life, the higher the number, the better the quality of life. As you can see from baseline to 12 months, there is an increasing score in terms of quality of life. And in terms of retention rate in treatment, after 1 year, we found that majority of our patients still in treatment. 75% of them still remain in treatment after 1 year. That means it's above that been suggested by the WHO, which is about 40%. And in terms of knowledge of Islam, when we use this Hatta Islamic religiosity scale, we found that the percentage of patients who are actually having knowledge of Islam of average, as you can see here, is increasing from baseline to 12 months, as shown with the green color bar. With regard to practice of Islam, Islam is knowledge. We also measure the practice of the amal. So as you can see here, the red bar, practice of Islam group over 1 year is also increased. And we also have 15 patients, which is report from the program after 1 year. Majority of the patients drop out during the first 2 weeks of induction phase. As Professor Hussein mentioned just now, the disadvantage of the methadone, you cannot start straight away with high dose. So many patients, when we start with low dose, they cannot wait. So that is why many patients actually default during the first few weeks of starting the methadone program. So you can actually start patient with Subuxone. Subuxone is pretty safe. We start at higher doses at first contact. So I think if you can have include buprenorphine or buprenorphine combination into our program, we can actually address those patients before during the first few days of the induction phase. And some of the patients also get caught by the police, especially when they're coming out from the clinic. The reason why they get caught is not because they are using methadone, but they get caught because of their past crime. For many years actually, before they start methadone, patients actually difficult to get, patients actually hiding on the board. It made it difficult for the police to catch them. But once they took methadone, the police is actually become easier to catch them because they just wait in front of the clinic and catch the patient. So that's why you notice a few years ago, the police of, I think, Perak said that after the initiating of methadone program, more methadone become addict and more drug addict get caught by the police. I think more drug addict get caught by the police because it's more easier for the police to catch them because they just wait in front of the clinic to fulfill the quota of the catch during that day. And these are some of the limitations of the program. This is actually the pilot study with small sample size. We only managed to enroll about 50 patients. We also have no control group at that time. And some data that when we do the assessments, we only rely on report that we get from the patient. We don't have a report from the family members. The brief intervention actually monitored only during the induction monitor during the maintenance phase, because majority of patients, when they go into the maintenance phase, they already got full-time employment. So they cannot come every day. So some of them, we give them a stay-away doses. And that's why we didn't actually monitor. We only monitor during the induction phase. That means during the first few weeks or 2 months. And of course, when we dealing with this kind of study, there is always recall bias. So just to show you some of the pictures that we actually gathered from the work. This is the mosque that I mentioned, Masjid Al-Rahman, just next to KL Gate, the entrance to the University of Malaya. And also you can see at the background, the telephone building. This is the front door of the mosque. And the clinic is actually situated at the second floor, here. So the patient that actually no need to go into the mosque, they can actually enter the clinic from the side here without entering the main hall of the mosque. And as I mentioned just now, before we start the program, we actually have a meeting with most people, most staff. This is actually the chairman of the mosque, Professor Ali Hassan. And also we invite the local police as well. Because we don't want problem arise in the middle of running the program. That's why from the beginning, when we plan to set up the clinic, we actually call the police, Police Pantai at that time. Lucky, he initially wanted no one to go into the mosque, the inspector, because he said, but because we have the clinic have a separate door. No need for him to actually go in front of the hall. That's why they agreed to go and enjoy the meeting. So this is the door that I mentioned just now, where the patient actually go into the clinic. And this is the actual clinic setting, where you can see the doctor's tables, the examination bed. This is the examination bed. And this is Haji O, who actually not only assisted the clinic session, but also he teach the clients how to read Quran, how to do praying and so on. Before we enroll patient, we actually do a full history taking and full assessment of patient, including the physical examinations. This is one of the patients that actually just get into the program. And we also engage medical students on top of survey that we give the medical students through research. And once a patient after they see doctor, they have to go and see pharmacist, and they receive methadone, direct oral therapy in front of the pharmacist. So this is the direct oral therapy in front of the pharmacist. And this is the patient after about 1 year undergoing treatment. As you can, if you notice here, initially when they come in, they are very thin, but after a year, they are about the same as the doctors. I believe this is a very good therapy for those having anorexia as well. So in conclusion, methadone treatment in most settings is very flexible in order to upscaling of MMT program in Malaysia. And the spiritual enhancement tradition rehabilitation program is potential to increase coverage of MMT. And there is a need for further study, in fact, to investigate the effectiveness of integrated medical and spiritual